Today I'm gonna be doing a little, design laments with me kind of thing. So we're gonna go absolutely from almost ground zero to hopefully a halfway decent double page spread for the magazine. So about 2 weeks ago, Roger and his brother Noid, they went with me to Denver, and we all worked on like a kind of urban photo shoot. And typically, Laments has been, so far at least, definitely more nature oriented. We got like the prairie landscape, the forest stuff, mountains, all that. But I really wanted to take a crack at like a more urban, like fashion shoot or whatever. So it's like a beautiful sunny day. And for whatever reason, is this image specifically from the ones that we got that day that just kind of gave me this very like J-pop, like late 80s, 90s, like Japanese pop, like kind of aesthetic. It's something to do with that, like, the blues and just kind of like the slight overexposure in the whites and stuff. So I was just thinking about that, and there's a lot of shots like that here, like you'll see later. And I was just kind of mulling that over in my head, like how do I incorporate these into like a themed spread? And so, trusty notebook, I started making some notes on like a possible thing. So you basically just, or I basically, am just making like my own sort of design brief here. So we'll just quickly go over what I wrote. Here we go. Basically just put, okay, we're going for 80s, 90s Japanese pop aesthetic, right? That means that we're going to have fuzzy and bright feeling edits for the pictures and the layout as well. So the background, maybe want like some textures in there, like, grain or noise, that kind of thing. I want to accentuate the light blues, the grays, and I haven't decided yet. Maybe I'll throw in some greens. I'm kind of deciding against that right now, but we'll see. And I want bright but slightly faded palette and texture effects, maybe even some gradients. So always good, as Roger has taught me, to have some references with you when you're doing this shit, right? So in terms of, my experience with 90s and Japanese pop stuff, obviously, definitely introduced to that kind of thing like through anime. But these are like, two just actual pop albums that I've been listening to a lot recently, and I really, really love both of these album covers. So this is kind of going to be like our mini mood board for this design or this spread. So as you can see, this one over here, the Mayonaka or Mayonoka, yeah, that's how you pronounce it. But we got the faded blues, the whites, a very kind of like clean aesthetic, but we also kind of got that like blurring at the edges of her hair. And let me zoom in. So yeah, you can see, it's definitely like some feathering and blurring there. And then we have like a very tasteful, nostalgic kind of grain and noise filter going over the top of this. And then in terms of this one over here, this is where we'll be drawing most of our color palette from. So again, we have really saturated blues, some nice kind of off whites in there, which I really dig, and then just the regular white border over here. So we'll be really drawing heavily from this one specifically as well. And then obviously the font is sick, so maybe I just steal that font. We'll see if I can look it up and find that. So this will be kind of our reference. So if at any point we start getting lost or, things aren't working out, we'll pop back over to this little art board or whatever, and then we'll realign the ship. So with that in mind, the first things first, so kind of walking you through my shitty workflow. First things first, right? I've done the brief, right? The writing, the sketching, the ideas. I've assembled the mood board, and then I've done some very brief thumbnails of maybe what I want. So the next thing to do would be to assemble the images that we are going to be using today, or for this spread, I should say. So I'm only really planning on using 3 of these. I find that, it's probably just past my level right now, but I find that just personally, like at the skill level that I'm currently at, which is low, More than 3 images on a spread tends to kind of get too messy for me. I don't really know how to balance it out. So we're going to be trying to stick to 3 today. So like I said, this image here, this was kind of the inspiration that got me thinking, okay, like 90s blue J-pop pristine thing, right? But this one's almost too good to use in the magazine. Maybe it's the cover, who knows? I haven't decided yet. So this is the inspo one, right? So this can be kind of part of the mood board as well. But I actually don't think I want to use this image. So we're going to be using this one, right? Kind of menacing, kind of dark. This one, little duo shot with Roger. And then we'll also be doing, it's a toss-up right now between this one because, you know, the color palette really matches, but I don't know, my face came out kind of fucked. So maybe we don't use that one. And then this one, which Roger didn't like initially, and my face is also real messed up in this one. But, you know, just the directionality of our head, you know, lining up with the lines of the poles and the texture of the bricks, I think it works quite nicely. So let's tentatively decide on this one, and this one. So first thing to do, open it up in Photoshop, right? So right now we've been looking at the raw file, and, you know, while it is a really good picture, we definitely want to do some like color correction and just make sure that we're really accentuating that like that retro kind of nostalgic tone that we're going for in the mood board, right? So if we look at the mood board and this side by side, I'm not quite getting this feel from this image yet, right? So we got to do a little bit of work on it. So pop over to the adjustments panel. First thing, I don't know if this is correct, but the first thing that I have been doing, right, I want to adjust the levels. So we're going to set the base overall lighting feel of the picture right now, right? So it's a little dark right now, right? The background's lighter, so we want to kind of accentuate the colors in the foreground a little bit. I feel like I have every fucking Creative Suite thing open right now. So I want to kind of bring it on over to the lighter side, right? So maybe we shunt this up a little bit. Right there. Cool. Then we'll go to the hue. I would like the blues to be popping just a tad more than they are right now. So let's go ahead, up the saturation on the blues. Just a little bit. Kind of want a slightly overexposed feel to this whole thing without it looking like complete dog shit. Brightness, it's already plenty bright. Yeah, any more would completely fuck it. So we're actually gonna lower it just a tad. Up the contrast so we really get those like shadows popping on the fabric folds. Never mind. Vibrance is the Jeremy special right here. Gonna increase saturation just a tad because I really want those blues to be coming in. So yeah, that's what I call good enough for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that to, you know, all the other images we're gonna be using, and then we'll cut over to the actual, you know, putting it all together. So we have our pictures nice and edited, you know, to the brightness and all that nonsense the way we want it now. We have the aesthetic going. Time to take a little sip of your matcha. You have it. So now it's time to actually start thinking about what the spread is going to look like on paper or whatever, right? So it is 3 images, like I said. That's about all I can handle right now. And as a very wise Roger Monroe once told me, you know, big, medium, small. So we're going to go ahead and decide that right now. You know, we're going to decide the hierarchy of the image. Something I do, right, is like, this is going to be, you know, classic laments, pictures, and lyrics, you know, kind of thing going on. So these albums, right, if you're going to be, you know, doing some shit related to music and the design, you got to listen to the songs that are inspired by that. So obviously I can't play them in the video because that's some copyright shit, but I will be playing them in my ear. So you saw the albums, I'll throw them up again. You should throw those on in the background while you're watching this. Gets the juices and the vibes flowing correctly, you know? Out of the mind and the heart comes the art. Okay, so now let's go ahead and import our images, right? I have the double spread layout here. So first things first, let's get the pictures in here. All right, and so now, next part, now that we have these in here actually, so we have to decide using that big, medium, small thing, right? Who or which picture is the star and which is, which two are going to be more the supporting cast. This one's just a little vibier than the other two, right? This one's like a little too sinister. Like it is very striking, but it's like not as like lighthearted. I tend to weight the left side of the page a little bit heavier. So we'll make this just a tad bigger, right? Because this is a star. We'll make it a little bigger. And we're going to have this go, we'll start centered, right? And then we'll work forward from there. We won't keep it as basic. So I've decided now, the pictures are going to be the small part, these two over here. And then we'll have the lyrics be the medium, right? Because those will take up a significant amount of the real estate on this page or this. And now we're in business. So now this one's a little bit smaller actually. So that also works. And even make it a little bit smaller. So now we have something approaching a design, even if it kind of still sucks a lot right now. So now we have these kind of in place, right? Next part is let's decide what lyrics, right? Because this is a lyric page. I have written down some lyrics that I was thinking of that kind of fit that same general vibe, right? It's like some bossa nova stuff. Ana Frango Elétrico. So she's like a Brazilian, like bossa nova, synth disco wave, like modern kind of thing. I wrote down some lyrics that really struck me from that I think would be particularly vibey on this spread. So these are our contenders, right? Clumsy, I seek a quiet place in your body. Except she says it much cooler than me. Tobacco smoke, ... My throat burns. I'm not going to sing it. My throat burns. And then my favorite that we're probably going to go with, your smell is cruel, and all of a sudden, I think I love you. That's pretty cool, right? Slightly abstracted, your smell is cruel. What does it mean to have a cruel smell? And then all of a sudden, I think I love you. That's kind of poppy, and that's kind of, more lighthearted than that initial one. And we're going to really reach right here, right? Your smell is cruel. Oh, there's kind of a darker, thing going on right here. All of a sudden, I think I love you, up here. Oh, we're bright, we're happy, we're friends. So we're going to go with that one. So now we got to decide the font, right? What's the font that's really going to go with this? All right, well, we're going to try to find or recreate the font ourselves. Let's try Futura Condensed. Or extra, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Tobacco smoke. Your smell is cruel. Can't fucking type. Not really what's going on over here, right? Not especially. So I need to play with that some more, but let's just get the words on there and then we can play with the font after this. Get the words and the sizing on there. Then we'll worry about the details. And so when I'm doing the lyrics, right, it's like I never really want them to take up like a lot of space chunk-wise at a time, because then your attention kind of just gets stuck there, right? Pictures, you can kind of just look at it and go, okay, that's a cool picture, and then you flow on to the next one, right? But it's like the words, they demand more of like your bandwidth. I hate that term, but it's like they demand more mental bandwidth, right? So you kind of get stuck there. So whenever I'm doing the lyrics, it's like I kind of want them to be broken up in like 4 to 5 word chunks and have them flow throughout the design, right? Something I think about is like, I want you to end up, the last point where your eyes end up is like where your point of interaction happens, right? So typically turn the page either like in the mid, like you would probably turn it or grab it with your hand somewhere in this area, right? So anywhere here, that's kind of where I want the words to end up and guide your hand. So we'll try that. So now we're making like a waterfall, kind of like or flow, right? And it's blue, so it fits. So there you go. You know, it smells cruel. Look at this picture, then you kind of go, oh, woo, boom, page. Don't be a piece of shit. And gotta credit the artist. So, right, it's starting to be something, kind of. So we're just gonna take a quick look at it, just as a spread without all the lines, right? So I don't know. These kind of distract me sometimes, so I just need to every now and then take a look. So it's looking okay. I don't hate where it's going. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm not hating the way it looks, and like I said, we can play with the font later, but I want to just kind of get the main layout down. So now, again, let's just make sure that we're not completely off our shit. Let us consult the mood board. Right, I'm seeing the similar color palette right now, right? I'm missing the fuzz and the grain of this, but I do have the main color palette and saturation of this. So let's go ahead and see. So now, because I said, you know, this is our main color palette, right? We're just gonna straight up take it, add that shit. Cool. It's not looking half bad. So now let's go ahead and add some texture to it, so it's not just like a really flat background. 25% grain. That looks okay to me. It's still looking decent. We have things that we can be proud of, but the font is still not quite there, right? And the font is like really what's going to tie all this together. So we need to play around a little bit. That's kind of giving it that ethereal nature that we're looking for. And so maybe we just start cycling through all the different blues, right? So can go with that, and then maybe this one ends off just a little bit lighter. So the issue with that bottom one is that the comma is just absolutely fucked beyond belief. Really starting to come together now. Let's go ahead and add in some background design elements, because it's still just a little bit flat, right? The little grain filter can't do all the work for us. Not yet. We're going to go back through our scratch shots, and we're going to find you know, like some background elements out of like the reject shots that might have like, you know, just a fun little piece, right? Piece of architecture, something cool going on in the background that we can yoink out from there in Photoshop, right? Lasso tool it, drop it into here and see how it looks. So that's going to involve me coming through a few pictures, which you do not get to see all those because then the whole magazine would be spoiled. So I will be right back once I have those. Yeah, shit looks like ass. And there's the Roger consultation and review. So now this is usually what happens is I have my draft, call Roger over, and now we rip it to fucking shreds, and at the same time, you know, come out with a much better product. So first impressions, I already deleted the fucking light because that shit sucked. I thought it was gonna be really good, but it turns out it fucking sucks. So what are we doing here? What are the main things that are missing, you think?
All right, so I think that the main thing that jumped out is that the pictures are just they're tiny, and I feel like you know, it's good to have a good border, but I think we have you know, more picture to screen ratio. So for the left one, just blow that up. Yeah. So yeah, I think like we could also like play with like, you know, right now the top, there's more border at the top than the bottom, so I don't know if you want it completely centered or whatever.
No, let's definitely up that there. That looks a lot more even.
I think we should also play with the vertical, you know, words.
Yeah, the orientation of the letters, right?
Yeah, are these what's let me, I haven't actually read it.
So this is there's Electric Fish, right? She goes,
yeah.
Your smell is cruel, and all of a sudden I think I love you. That thing, yeah. So
Electric Fish.
Yeah, me, mama, yeah. So I was thinking, because it's like a very flowy line, right? I'm trying to make this cascading waterfall effect. But since this is like, I think I love you, right? It's like that's the punctuation. So maybe that's the part that goes vertical, because that's like the oomph, you know?
Yeah. I think we should just like play with like both of them going vertical, because the reference.
Oh, like this one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
My main thing is just like this
readability.
I was just saying there's the empty space in this top right corner and then empty space in that bottom left corner where there's no pictures. I'm just want to orient the words in a way that we can just blow up the pictures bigger. Just, just have more space.
I was trying really hard, and I said, Roger told me, big, medium, small. So I still kind of want to maintain a little bit of that. Which one do you think you would put as the small? I was thinking this one.
Yeah.
Push a T.
I was going to go with salt and pepper.
Oh, push it real good. Oh, do we like this corner touch? Are you a fan of that?
I don't know. I don't know design like that.
I kind of fuck with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like, the building kind of it's the same building, so it kind of bleeds into it a little bit. I'm liking that.
All right. Yeah. And then the yeah.
Maybe put this in line with his.
You could go in line with that, or you can push it in more against the picture, so it's like there, and then you could have also now we just have to think about readability of like which one you read first and everything.
So I mean, this one is the read first one. So maybe we do this actually. Here we go.
I feel like all of a sudden matches the picture of the top left one, because it's like all of a sudden
it's
there's
like
some
boom, yeah.
And then I think I love you's like.
This is what happens, right? Is I have a very rudimentary idea, and then Roger comes in and he beautifies that shit. So it's looking a little better. Do we want to do anything, or not a little bit? It's looking a lot better, much more dynamic. Do you want to do anything with her name?
It could be more centered, like it's like more connected to the picture.
Frames it a little bit better.
Yeah, possibly. I think also if we're gonna do that, I think and all of a sudden, I think that might look a little weird that it's going further off screen than the picture. Like we can either make the picture bigger or.
Do you want to flip them this way? That way the eye is first.
Yeah, you want to read downward.
Okay.
And then also you could I think I love you. We could also put it on the right side of that picture. I think that would look a little off.
But then this is gonna have nothing,
Yeah.
Right? And then this kind of frees up for some sort of design element, like some abstract shapes or something. But the thing about this, right, is that like the reference photo, it's very clean.
Also, reference photo, it has a lot of white in it. Very like it has hard white. So like what if we do white borders
on the pictures? Around
the pictures, and then we could put the words in there possibly. And like the pictures, because right now you have a border around the words, but you could just have like she has it where it's flat blue,
and that way I don't get those like stupid like blocky comma shit going on.
Shift the top one to the right and the bottom one to the left, so that it's like not a bunch of yellow, like
you
it's
break
like,
it up the silhouette a little bit more.
Yeah, so switch the two that way, and then have the all of a sudden there, and then the I think I love you over here, so then it's like I think it's readable.
I am actually liking that way better. No.
Yeah, let's have it hug it. It's like hugging.
Yeah, I think I love you. And it's like, and when she says that line, she goes, all of a sudden. So it fits. This is the key with design, is that you just justify shit.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Any reach you can make, take it.
We're artsy fartsy.
Oh, yeah. This is actually looking way more proper now. So now it's like, this lined up. Yes, cool. So I'm digging this. My last thing would be, maybe I want some sort of design element here and here, because that is kind of a lot of empty space.
Yo, put the lamp.
The lamp sucks
makes a
ass.
comeback.
All right, let's see if the lamp can work. That's that shit. That is not half bad. Say that's not half bad. Say it.
It's not half bad.
Yay.
Honestly,
like I need something that goes
rule of three.
Rule of three.
Like
it's like something needs to go right here.
3 lamps.
What if I just do this?
Don't do that. What? It's a peeping lamp.
Hey.
Put the opacity at 5%.
Yo. Hold on. Oh! Cool. Well, I mean, I think this is an okay
I can't believe the lamp came back. That's
The
so
lamp
sad.
came back, dude. Fucking the lamp is it's Easter. He came
Easter?
back as per usual. Roger comes in. He be saving the day. He be saving the day real nice. This is a far cry. Blood Dragon, from
Nope.
from
The DLC dog.
I should have just said 3. But yeah, there's a far cry from where we started, and yeah, as per usual. Thank you, dog.
Of course.
That's Laments.
Laments.
That's Laments. Lamp Laments. Very cool.
Lamp bends.
Lamp
Lamp.
Lamé.